Ladies and gentlemen, they say the success of a ball player can be determined by two things. If he is celebrated when he's still playing, and remembered when he's in retirement. When I was a kid, I heard legendary stories of this guy. I read various books about Major League Baseball involving players in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and this guy really stood out because I considered the Baby Bull the king of Puerto Rican baseball. I don't know exactly when I first took notice of him, but when I did, my God, what a player. Unfortunately, the Baby Bull has passed away on June 28th after a short illness. Now, Orlando Manuel Cepeda Pines, Cepeda, pronounced in the normal Spanish, was a Puerto Rican first baseman in Major League Baseball who played for six squads from 58 to 74, primarily the power-laden San Francisco Giants. An 11-time All-Star, Cepeda was one of the most consistent power hitters in the National League through the 60s and was finally inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1999, 25 years after retirement. Now, breaking with the Giants in the first season after they relocated to San Francisco, he was named the NL Rookie of the Year by unanimous vote in 58 after balloting. Every year from 58 through 63, he was among the league leaders in batting, home runs, RBIs, slugging, and total bases. In 59, he became the first Puerto Rican player to start an All-Star game, and in 61, he was run-up in voting for the NL MVP. After leading the association with 46 homers and 142 RBIs, which remained the club record for right-handed hitters. In the ensuing years, the Giants struggled to fit both Cepeda and Willie McCovey in the lineup. They were both first basemen, unsuccessfully trying to shift each one of them to left field at different points. After long-standing knee injuries forced Cepeda to miss most of the 65 campaign, living into pinch-hitting duties, he was traded in May 66 to the Cardinals, coming back to finish the year with a 301 average. In 67, he helped the team to the NL pennant, winning the MVP award by unanimous vote. Another trade brought him to the Braves, and he helped that team win the inaugural NL West Division title in 69. With his play increasingly limited by knee problems, he was traded to Yale shortly before the adoption of the DH and won the first Outstanding Designated Hitter award with the Red Sox in 73 before his career came to an end the following year. Now, unfortunately, he struggled in his personal life after ending his career. After 75 arrests for transporting marijuana from Colombia to Puerto Rico, he served 10 months in prison and saw his reputation ruined on his own island. Following changes in his personal life, however, he repaired his image as being contracted by the Giants in 87 to work as a scout and goodwill ambassador, beginning decades of humanitarian work. So, Giants 58 to 66, Cardinals 66 to 68, Braves 69 to 72, 72 for the Athletics, Boston Red Sox in 73, Kansas City Royals in 74. 11-time All-Star, 59-64 inclusive, multiple games, of course, in that era, 67, World Series champion 67, NL MVP 67, Rookie Year 58, NL Home Run Champ 61, two-time NL RBI leader 61-67, retired number 30 with the Giants, San Francisco Giants Hall of Fame, 297 average, 2,351 hits, 379 homers, and of course 1,365 RBIs. Sent into the Hall of Fame 99 by, of course, the very intelligent Veterans Committee that year. Now, born in Ponce, Puerto Rico, to Pedro Anibal Cepeda and Carmen Penes, the family was poor and lived in wood houses without a telephone or a fridge. His father was a pro baseball player in Puerto Rico, where he was known as the Bull and was widely considered one of the best players of his generation. Orlando was thus known as the Baby Bull. Cepeda saw his father play baseball for the first time in 46 and was instantly interested in the game. Now, because he was black and the bulk of his career was played before Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color line in 47, Pedro Cepeda could not play in the major leagues. Several players from the Negro Leagues visited our house, which influenced Orlando's view of the sport. He became a fan of the legendary Benny Minosa, following his career in the Cuban League, Negro Leagues, Major Leagues, and the Caribbean. Now, when he was 10, he began to sell newspapers in order to participate in a baseball tournament organized for the Paper Boys. His first tryout came 3 years later. He practiced with the team for 3 months but did not make the roster. Cepeda then began playing basketball, but he tore a cartilage in his knee and underwent surgery, and this was the Bobby Orr moment in his life because his knees were never the same. The injury kept him inactive for nearly a year, and the doctors recommended that he avoid practicing basketball. He began practicing baseball again, noticing that the physical strength had significantly improved in 2 years. Now, according to a baseball biographer, Cepeda had fell awkwardly on the knee while playing basketball and basically crunched it, which is something that a lot of athletes that the career ends because the impact of the knee in basketball is not the same as baseball or hockey. Now, one day, an amateur baseball player saw him play and recruited him to take the field with his squad. That organization won Puerto Rico's amateur title and went on to play against an all-star team from the DR. Pedro Zarilla, the owner of the Santa Cruz Crabbers, attended the game to scout another player. But after seeing Cepeda play, he became interested in him and signing him. In '53, Zarilla brought him onto the team to work as a bat boy. After retiring, Pedro Cepeda worked for the government, checking the water of rivers in the municipality. Unfortunately, he contracted malaria, which eventually precipitated his death at age 49. The illness also worsened the family's living conditions. They moved from Guayamo to Juncos, where the financial condition deteriorated. When he moved again, this time to San Juan, his mother worked odd jobs to support the family. After her father's death, there was not sufficient income to the household to pay for his college after his father's death. Now in '55, Zarilla persuaded Cepeda's family to purchase an airplane ticket so he could participate in a New York Giants tryout. After passing the tryout, he was assigned to Giants in Sandersville, a Class D team. Cepeda was subsequently transferred to the Great Salem Rebels, but he had trouble adapting because he did not speak English. He also encountered discrimination due to racial segregation under Jim Crow laws. He wasn't black, but he was a dark-skinned Puerto Rican. Shortly after his move, Zarilla called to inform him that her father was in critical condition, and Pedro died a few days later. Orlando paid the burial expenses and returned to Salem. He eventually became depressed, which affected his performance. He wanted to quit and return to Puerto Rico, but Zarilla convinced him to play for the Kokomo Giants, a team in the Mississippi, Ohio Valley League. Walt Dixon, the team's manager, assigned him to play third base. Batting in the cleanup, he finished with an outstanding .393 average, hitting 21 homers and 91 RBIs. Now, Jim Tobin, who owned his contract, knew his potential and sold his players' rights back to the Giants. After a visit to Puerto Rico, Cepeda returned to New York before being sent to play with the St. Cloud Rocks in Class C. The team reassigned him to play first base, and he adapted to the change quickly. That year, won the Northern League Triple Crown, .355, 112 RBIs, and 26 homers. Jack Schwartz promoted him to Class B, a decision he protested, noting that players with worse performance were being sent to Double A. Following a solid season in Class B, he played for the Crabbers in the Puerto Rican Professional Baseball League during the winter, concluding with a batting average of .310, 11 homers, and 40 RBIs. He then signed a Class A contract with Springfield, accepted it on condition that he be allowed to play with the Minneapolis Millers in spring training. Cepeda had a slow start, but his performance improved as the season advanced, and the squad retained him on their roster. Now, after completing the '57 season with the Millers, he returned to PR and played in the Puerto Rican League. While he was playing with Santa Cruz, manager Bill Rigby, team owner Horace Stoneham, and Tom Sheen scouted him on behalf of the Giants, who had just moved from New York to San Fran. He was invited to the team's spring training along with Felipe Alou and Willie Kirkland. What a camp. Now, call up the Giants in '58. His 13 home runs through May 31st that year placed him in tie with Jock Peterson, 2015, for the second most by an NL rookie through the end of May in league history, surpassed only by Albert Pujols with 16 in 2001. He signed his first major league contract 10 minutes before debuting in the league, earning a paltry $7,000 for the season. In San Francisco, the team received significant media attention. Due to his performance, the team gave him a raise to $9,500 in June. During the season, he lived with Ruben Gomez, but stopped doing so after some tension developed between them. His average remained steady throughout the season, never falling below .305, which was his average in September. The Giants led the pennant race for a month, but their record in August and September was below .500, and eventually finished in third, 4 games behind the Pirates, and 12 behind the Braves, who won their second straight pennant. His first season, He batted 312, 25 homers, 96 RBIs, and a league-leading 38 doubles. Cepeda and teammate Willie Mays were the only NL players to finish the season ranked among the leaders in hits, home runs, RBIs, batting average, runs scored, and stolen bases. He was unanimously selected the Rookie of the Year, becoming the second player after the great Frank Robinson, 56, to receive a unanimous vote. He was also elected the most valuable Giant in a poll conducted by the San Francisco Examiner, and on September 28, 58, the newspaper presented him with a plaque in recognition of the selection. Now, after the season concluded, Cepeda used his salary to buy a new house for his mother. That year, he won the PR batting title with an average of 362, while Santa Cruz won the league's championship. The Giants offered him a $12,000 contract, which he refused, asking for $20,000. After negotiations, the party settled at $17,000. Now, in 59, Cepeda reported spring training with more confidence than the year before. He opened the campaign hitting in 9 straight games with 15 runs in his first 35 at-bats. After experiencing a brief slump during the latter half of May, he recovered, hitting 12 home runs by June 4th. That day, he had 4 hits, including a pair of home runs and a double, driving in 7. Now, the Giants remained in the pennant race for most of the season, but were eliminated from competition after losing a series against the Dodgers. Cepeda led the team in batting average with 317 and RBIs with 105. Now, when Cepeda moved from Daly City to the Sunset District, it kind of calmed his personality a little bit. He moved him back to first base in 1960 after McCovey was sent to the minors. He finished the year with batting 297 with 24 home runs. Now, in 61, the season that even Cepeda says is his best ever, he led the league in RBIs with 142, home runs with 46, and had bats per home run with 7.9. Now, after the season, who at the time was he was earning $30,000, asked for a $20,000 raise based on his performance. The GM believed that he was making too much money for a fourth-year player, and the negotiation continued until the final salary of $46,000 was settled on. The 62 Giants were an improved team, constantly rivaling the Dodgers for the league lead. Now, in this campaign, he batted 306 with 35 home runs and 114 RBIs. Now, they did advance to the World Series to play the Yankees, but New York won in a very tough 7 games. Now, it's the 61 and 62 seasons were strong for the Giants, but he had serious problems with future Oakland manager and current Giants bench boss Alvin Dark, to the point of almost skipping some games. A lot of people believe that Dark didn't like Cepeda. Among the things that Dark did after being named manager was to order the Latin American players to stop speaking Spanish in the clubhouse. Cepeda immediately confronted him. After this, Dark avoided summoning the Hispanic players to any team meeting. Now, another knee injury that hit him in the PR off season. He played the full 63 season with the injuries, but his stats went down a little bit, batting 316 with 34 home runs and 97 RBIs. Now, before his 26th birthday, he had accumulated 1,105 hits, the 11th highest total for a 25-year-old player in MLB history. Now, 64 pennant race, he did well, but the Cardinals defeated the New York Mets to secure the flag when Cepeda led the team in batting average with 304 and slugging with 539. Now, he attended 65 spring training, having limited participation. Now, the swelling in his knee came back. He eventually returned to action, but his bat wasn't there. Batting only, in return to action, 176 with 1 home run, 34 at-bats. Now, after recovering from the injury, he attended 66 spring training, but he was not placed in the team's starting lineup. In May, he was traded to the Cardinals for Ray Sadecki. The Giants, again, were playing a series against the Cardinals in St. Louis at the time of the trade, so he joined the team there. Unfortunately, he finished in 6th, but he did play 123 games with a 303 average, and is named the NL Comeback Player of the Year. Now, in 67, the Cardinals were a stacked team, and a lot of people felt they were going to win the pennant, but medium odds at 12-1. He began the season strongly, driving his 7 runs in his first 7 games. Now, the Cardinals won the pennant by 10.5 games that year, and he was Player of the Month for August, and he defeated the Red Sox in 7 games in a World Series in the Bob Gibson era. Now, he concluded the season hitting .325 with 21 game-winning hits and a league-leading 111 RBIs. He was named the NL's most valuable player. He was the second NL player after Carl Hubble to win the award unanimously. Now, in '68, the Cardinals made it back to the World Series. Unfortunately, a 7-game upset by Denny McLain, where Bob Gibson, of course, gave up that seeing eye multi-base hit in the 7th inning, which killed him against the Tigers. He finished the season with his worst campaign as a regular player: 16 home runs, 73 RBIs, and only 248. Now, he reported late to spring training, and they decided to eventually deal him because of the insubordination. Traded to the Braves for Joe Torre, of all people. The trade took him surprise. After learning his new team was the Braves, he considered retirement, but decided against that after discussing with his wife. Now, he moved to Atlanta with uncertainty because of Jim Crow laws. However, he led the Braves to the NL West banner, and he finished the season better than the previous campaign: 257, 22 home runs, and 80 RBIs. Now, in 1970, Rico Cardi of the Braves led the league in batting average, while Cepeda and Hank Aaron each drove into more than 100 runs. Now, he finished the campaign, despite the fact Braves being in 4th place, 34 home runs and 111 RBIs. Now, because numerous tests showed that he re-injured one of his knees in his house, but this injury really limited him. He only hit 5 more home runs that season after the injury. Now, he traveled to New York in the fall, where he underwent surgery, returning to PR to recover during the winter. 72, he began playing while feeling pain. He eventually hit 2 homers against the Astros, but we knew that the trade was going to be happening. Now, in July, Cepeda was traded to the Oakland Athletics, for all people, Denny McLain. After playing for a week strictly as a pinch hitter, he was hospitalized and underwent a second surgery on his injured knee. Cepeda remained in Oakland 3 months before returning to Puerto Rico. Upon arriving, he received a telegram from Charlie Finley, the Athletics owner, telling him he did not respond within 3 days, he would be released from his contract. He decided not to call, intending to retire from baseball. However, designated hitter rule saved him in '73. He hooked up with the Red Sox, and the deal was with the DH was to improve attendance. When the Red Sox contacted him, telling him that his role with the team only required batting, he became the first player to sign a contract to exclusively play as a DH. His first hit with the team was a walk-off home run on April 8 to beat the Yankees 4-3, and on August 8 he had a career-high 4 doubles and 6 RBIs in a 9-4 road win against the Royals. Cepeda finished the year with an average of .289 with 20 home runs and 86 RBIs and 550 at-bats. He was awarded the ODHA, the Outstanding Designated Hitter Award, and Cepeda's 20th home run established a major league record, making him the first player to hit 20 more home runs with 4 different teams. Now, in '74, after briefly playing in Mexico, he was offered a contract by the Royals. In the last season, he had a tough campaign: .215 with 1 home run and 18 RBIs. Now, Cepeda was the second player from Puerto Rico to win a triple crown in minor league baseball, doing so in '56 with his .355, 26, 112. He was selected again as an All-Star 7 times, appearing in 11 games. The first Puerto Rican to start an All-Star game, to be selected in 2 positions as a first and left fielder. His lifetime numbers in the Puerto Rican Pro Baseball League are .325 batting average, 5th all-time, 89 homers, 310 runs batted in, and a .544 slugging percentage, second and only Puerto Rican with 500 plus. He batted over 309 times. Now, on December 3rd, 1960, Cepeda married Annie Pino in a ceremony that took place in a small church in San Juan. This was followed by a large reception at the Hilton, but unfortunately he and Annie divorced in '73. Now, after the couple separated, he met Nadia Fernandez, who was from Carolina, Puerto Rico. The couple married in '75 and had 2 children, Malcolm and Ali. Cepeda also has 2 other sons, Orlando Cepeda Jr. and Carl Cepeda. Now, in former Catholic, Cepeda began practicing Nichiren Buddhism as a member of the Buddhist Association Soka Gakki International in '83. 1 year later, he moved to LA, renting an apartment in Burbank. During this time frame, his relationship with Fernandez deteriorated. She eventually left the house and returned to Puerto Rico with Malcolm and Ali and filed a divorce suit. A friend introduced Cepeda to Marianne Ortiz, whom he eventually married. Unfortunately, Marianne died in 2007. Now, he did try a comeback in Puerto Rico after the Kansas City season, but noticed that his body couldn't perform well, opting to retire instead. Now, this is the story only for public information. Maybe one of the main reasons he was not in the Hall of Fame right away. Around the same time he wrapped up his career in Puerto Rico, or didn't play, I think it was 75, he traveled to Colombia to direct a baseball clinic. Once there, he met a group of drug dealers who convinced him to put bags containing 5 pounds of cannabis in 2 boxes containing handmade clothing. Cepeda had continued to use cannabis since 65. He returned to Puerto Rico, waiting 10 days before contacting the airport to see if the boxes had arrived. When Cepeda arrived to collect his cargo, he was told that he could not be released since the shipping costs had not been covered. The shipment actually weighed 170 pounds, far more than had been expected. At that point, 2 police officers who were aware of the contents instructed one of the air freight employees to give Cepeda the boxes with or without payment. An airport employee delivered the boxes to Cepeda's car, and once Cepeda returned to the vehicle, he was arrested and charged with drug possession. Now, while on trial for the charge, he was arrested a second time after a man alleged that Cepeda had pointed a gun at him. A third case was brought by Pino, seeking an increase in alimony and child support payments. In 78, after 3 days of trial, he was declared guilty of the drug possession charges and was sentenced to 5 years. He did serve 10 months of jail time and the balance of his sentence on probation. Following his release, a district attorney in Puerto Rico told the prison's warden that if Cepeda returned, the mafia would likely attempt to kill him, leading to Cepeda's assignment to a halfway house in Philadelphia. Now, after completing that program, he coached a LBPPR squad in Bayamo, Puerto Rico, and was later hired as a scout for the Chicago White Sox. In 81, the team assigned him to work as a roving instructor with one of their minor league clubs in Lynn, Massachusetts. General manager Roland Hammond released him later that year, and he briefly worked as the Crabbers' coach. Now, in 87, Max Shapiro asked him to substitute for Willie McCovey in a fantasy baseball camp in San Fran, and though reluctant at first, he accepted. There he met the befriended publisher Lawrence Hyman, who introduced Cepeda to Giant staff members and encouraged him to write to general manager Al Rosen. After initially receiving no response, eventually Patrick J. Gallagher called to tell Cepeda that Rosen wanted him to hire him as a scout. He eventually worked in the DR, Mexico, and other Latin American countries during his first year, after which the Giants placed him on full-time payroll. Again, he was a Goodwill ambassador for many years for the Giants, attending activities in schools, hospitals, and community centers. And he represented the Giants in programs aided at the Latin American communities. Now, when he joined Soca Gawk International, he also participated in activities for Puerto Rican communities in New York. Now, he threw the honorary first pitch for the third game of the 89 NLCS and also for a regular season game for the Giants and Dodgers on September 17, 1997, his 60th birthday. Cepeda had his own concession stand in New Giant Stadium, which opened in 2000, now called Oracle Park. Among the offerings at Cepeda's Caribbean Barbecue is the Caribbean Cha-Cha Bowl, in reference to his nickname for his taste for jazz and Latin music. Now, in 2006, the Society for American Baseball Research approved a chapter for Puerto Rico, the first in Latin America, and named a chapter in honor of Cepeda. In 2008, the 9-foot bronze sculpture of Cepeda in a Giants uniform in the early 60s was unveiled at the new ballpark. At this writing, Cepeda was only the fourth Giant to be honored with such a statue, following Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, and Warren Marshall. Now, on September 16, 2017, the day before his 80th birthday, he attended a birthday celebration at Oracle Park, where the Giants honored him, including distributing statuettes of him to the first 20,000 fans at the game. Now, by the early 90s, when the time of initial eligibility for the Baseball Hall of Fame was beginning to run out, many Puerto Rican celebrities and ordinary citizens alike began to campaign for his induction. I was one of them. Some international celebrities and former teammates are also joining the campaign. In 94, his last year of eligibility and voting by the Baseball Writers Association of America, he came within 9 votes of being elected. In 99, He was elected by the Hall's Veteran Committee, joining Roberto Clemente as the only other Puerto Rican in Cooperstown. He has since been joined by Roberto Alomar, Ivan Rodriguez, and Edgar Martinez. Now, he belongs to 14 Hall of Fames, which I think is a baseball record, the most by any Puerto Rican athlete. He's in the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame, 1990, Puerto Rico Baseball Hall of Fame, 91, Laredo Latin American International Sports Hall of Fame, 95, Santurce Hall of Fame, 97, Puerto Rico Sports Hall of Fame, 93, Baseball Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, 99, Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, 2000, Guayama Hall of Fame, 2000, Bonds Hall of Fame, 2001, Catano Hall of Fame, 2002, Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum Hall of Fame, 2002, African American Ethnic Sports Hall of Fame, 2007, San Francisco Giants Hall of Fame, 2008, and Latino American Baseball Hall of Fame, 2010. Now, he was also recognized nationally for his humanitarian efforts as ambassador for baseball. He served as an honorary spokesperson for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America. In 2001, he won the Ernie Banks Positive Image Lifetime Achievement Award. The citation for the award reads in part, "The legacy he's leaving is an impressive one indeed. His commitment to community service includes credentials for our own humanitarian Hall of Fame." Now, he's done also different work in different categories. He's done work with the Giants Christmas Caravan, school and youth groups in the USAID San Francisco Medical Center Pediatric Cancer Ward. He's also been a participant in Athletes Against AIDS. He was also a public speaker for the Omega Boys and Girls Club, counseling at-risk students in the San Francisco community. He was also revered in a local community, and a local band has a song that celebrates him. Now, when he retired Cepeda's number in 99, number 30, it hangs on the facing of the upper deck in the left field corner of Oracle Park. On September 6, 2008, the Giants unveiled a statue of Cepeda next to the installation. He was the fifth Giant to be so honored, with a statue, again, Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Juan Marshall, and Gaylord Perry. Now, in 2008, the Giants added a life-size bronze statue in the fourth corner of the stadium to honor him as one of the greatest Giants of all time, joining again other Hall of Fame players on the other three corners of the stadium, Mays, Marshall, and McCovey. Cepeda continued to be part of the Giants' front office staff and was often involved with the team's spring training activities. He was also recognized at Parc de la Poncheros Illustre in the area of sports, which celebrates top players. Now, unfortunately, he was hospitalized in February 2018 after a fall. He suffered what's called a cardiac episode of head injury and a stroke after falling in a parking lot at the Rancho Solano Golf Course Complex in Fairfield, California. He was hospitalized for several months before being released. Now, unfortunately, in 2020, he made the news again by suing his daughter-in-law alleging elder financial abuse, fraud, negligence in handling his finances after he granted her power of attorney in 2018 and infliction of emotional distress. He also denied suffering from dementia. Now, Cepeda unfortunately passed away on June 28, 2024 at the age of 86. His death occurred 10 days after his former teammate, the legendary Willie Mays, passed away. So Orlando Cepeda, a great career in baseball, mostly ups, a few downs, but every time I think of Puerto Rico and baseball, Cepeda comes to mind. What a Latino and black influence that the Giants had on Major League Baseball. I think of McCovey, Marshall, the Ulus, Cepeda, tremendous. And when he finally got back and won the World Series in recent years, boys, that was the Giants are a legacy team, ladies and gentlemen, New York and San Francisco besides. And it's great to say I'm 58 years old, and I was looking for Orlando Cepeda baseball cards where everybody in my group did know who Orlando Cepeda was. And I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, when the DH came in, Ron Blomberg got most of the PR being the first DH. Orlando Cepeda was, if put it this way, if it wouldn't be for Nees, he would have had 500 home runs and 3,500 hits. Like, he was playing cripple on most days. And like I said, just like Bobby Orr there was marquee years, but, it was freaky. And the baby bull will be greatly missed, ladies and gentlemen. Orlando Cepeda, a tribute, a gentleman, and a massive talent. He will be deeply missed for all fans of baseball. If I had three Orlando Cepedas on a team, I could win anything. You look at Vladimir Guerrero. You look at all the Latino players. Vladdy and Cepeda have a lot in common because they hit them where there ain't, and that comes from players from the DR and Puerto Rico and different countries. But amazing career, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening. If you like what we're doing here, we're a tribute podcast. Let us know what to like, comment, subscribe, or share.